channel. Let me introduce myself. My name is Logan. This is Timeless Personal Growth and Development. And today I'm going to be talking about a more personal story today. I'm going to be diving into a personal story of myself. And if you watch these videos, if you watched my channel, you know I'm a big advocate of parenthood, of fatherhood, of child development. I work in the school system, so I'm big on child development. I'm big on bettering ourselves so we can become more of a value to our children for our future generation. And well, there's a reason for that. And I'll dive into it today in this video. I'll dive into why I'm such a big advocate of these things, being a big advocate of being a strong, masculine, virtuous role model. Why I'm so big on that, and well, it's because of my upbringing. And if you've seen the thumbnail of this video, you'll see that I was raised pretty much in a fatherless home, and I'll give you a little bit of a backstory, and I'll just tell you how I overcame those issues that came with all those problems of being raised in a fatherless home. And it seems to be a common trend over the last 40 years that single mother households are very, very common now, and not having a masculine, not having a fatherly presence in the household it's unfortunate to say, but it's almost becoming the norm. And that's how my story started. I'm sure some of you watching this video, it's the same for you. You've been in the same case. And if you're looking for strategies or looking for some sort of inspiration of overcoming these things, someone to identify with, someone to relate to, someone who's going through the same problems or had gone through the same problems that you are currently going through before, then this video is for you. And pay attention, and I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, just to start, I was born in 1986, and I was not from what I've heard, I was not a planned birth. And my mother was at the point in her life where it was her last chance. It was her last chance to have a child. She was an older mother, so it was her last chance to have a child. So you know what? She just said, you know what? Screw it. This is my chance. The guy that I'm with, unfortunately, he's not father material, but you know what? Screw it. This is my chance anyway. I'll just deal with what I have to deal with. And yeah, and I would say my father was not cut out to be a father himself, and it led to them separating. I think I was about 4 or 5 years old. So at that point, my mother had primary custody over me, and I would see my father on weekends, all that. And I'm not saying he was terrible, but he would not a terrible man, not a horrible man. He just wasn't cut out for the father life. That's all it is. He wasn't cut out, and he would treat me more like a friend than he was a father. Not bad. It was not his skill set. Not his skill set. And I got to give credit where credit is due. Yes, it was a struggle. Yes, it's a challenge growing up with a fatherless home without having that strong male role model. But I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today without a strong female in the house. I give a lot of credit to my own mother because she had to deal with a lot of crap. She had to deal with a lot of crap from the lack of masculine influence that I had. But she powered through. And she was pretty much growing up then until now I'm almost 35 years old, that she was the constant in my life. She's always been there, always supportive, no matter how difficult or how hard things got. She was always there and being supportive, and I wouldn't be able to get through the things I needed to get through without her influence. And so back to my father. Yeah, and he just, I think it was in early 2000s, he slowly started to disappear. And I had a stepfather that came into the picture around 6 or 7 years old. And he was okay. He was great. I was a young kid, but struggles started to appear once I got into teenage years. And he wasn't really, my stepfather at the time wasn't really cut out to be able to handle teenagers. And it was a struggle. And I really lacked that emotional connection with any kind of male, which I really needed. I wasn't lacking in the connection with my mother, of course, at the time. No, I wasn't. But that connection with someone having a strong male role model to look up to, I really lacked that, and I needed that. And when you're young, when you're a kid, you're looking for it, but you're not aware that you're looking for it. You only look back now when you're an older man, hitting middle age, and you're like, oh wow, that's why I was drawn to certain things. That's why I was drawn to, like, for example, I was so drawn into pro wrestling. Why? Why was I drawn into pro wrestling? Those are strong, masculine, charismatic men that I could look up to. Man, these guys are so strong and powerful and so charismatic. They walk into a room and they just own the room, and then their music hits and they walk into an empty arena. The crowd goes wild and it's awesome, and they just have such a dominating, commanding presence. And I like that. I thought that was really cool. That was really awesome. So I was really drawn to that because I was lacking that when it came to a father figure in my own life. And eventually I got older and then started to moved out of the house. I think I was 22, 23 at that point. I remember, I was moved out with a girlfriend, then we broke up a year later, but I think it was then, at that point, after we broke up, and I was truly, for the first time in my life, on my own, I think 23, 24 years old, and that's when I think the lack of male influence in my life made me hit rock bottom at that point. And I realized I was lacking the fundamentals of masculine influence completely, 100%. And I didn't know how to push myself forward. I didn't know how to stand on my own 2 feet. I didn't know how to basically carry myself as a man, as an individual, because at the time I just thought, like, okay, I'm gonna move out, I'm gonna meet someone, and we're gonna move in together, and we're gonna live happily ever after. Well, I was in for a rude awakening, and I got punched in the face because I didn't learn the fundamentals of being a man and what I need to do. For one thing, I wasn't really taught, and this all comes from having a strong, virtuous father in your life, is not learning hard work, not learning providing value to the world. That the world is not gonna give you what you want. You got to go out there and earn it. You got to earn your keep, and you got to work for it. Stop. I need to stop looking for sympathy. I need to stop telling people my sad story and realizing, like, nobody really cares about my sad story. And it took me at least to, like, the age of 30 to really hone in on that and really realize that nobody really cares. All I have is this. All I have is me, and I gotta drive that forward. And I would say I had one positive influence, and that came from weight training. And for the last 20 years, I thank God gyms are open now so I can get back to it, but that really was the essence that really kept me together. Even at times where I felt like I was falling apart, that really held me together. And that's just not something someone told me to do. That's just something I naturally fell into. It's just going to the gym and weight training because it feels good. You're building your body, you're building yourself, and that's what you need to do as a man. And I wasn't taught that as a young age. I naturally fell into it thank God, but it was challenging because there was no mentorship of how to navigate the world. I basically had to essentially learn it on my own. And thank God for my mother, because she did what she needed to do. But a mother can't do a father's job, and a father can't do a mother's job. It's yin and yang. It's two sides of the coin. I had one side of the coin with my mother's influence, and she was great, and my mother's wonderful. But I was also missing that other side of the coin. However, I did, until I reached about I think my mid-20s. There was a man that came into my life, and at the time he was, I guess I refer to him as my second stepfather. And I was very detached when it came to male role models, and they just one disappointing me after another. So I wasn't very warm with him. I was friendly, I was polite, I was respectful, but I wasn't really yearning to develop a deep emotional connection with him, because I've been screwed over so many times. I didn't want to get attached and start looking up to this guy and start respecting him and start going to him for advice. And I just figured, well, I've been trying to do it on my own for a while. I just didn't need another guy. And it took, and bless his heart, he's not here anymore. He's not with us anymore. Passed away a few years ago. But he was very, very patient and very, very consistent with me. Because I came in, I was 22, 23, and my brain was already developed at that point. I already had my experiences, and I've already had disappointments with male role models, so I wasn't into connecting with him. But he didn't waver. He never lost patience. He kept pursuing. Not pursuing, but he kind of kept a distance a little bit and let me come to him. And slowly over time, it took like over a decade until he passed, but it took a really long time to finally build that emotional connection with him. And I finally did. And this is the part that bothers me, and this is the part that still eats away at me to this day, is that I only truly made a connection with him right when he passed. Right before, maybe like a year or two, year and a half before he passed away. And that bothered me, because I had all that time to connect and really build a strong father-son relationship with him, and he passed. He had to go. But I realized after he passed, the mark that he left on me was instrumental. And he was the best way to put this, he was the missing piece that I needed in my life. And I think it was a part of me kind of opening, even though at this point he passed, it was me kind of accepting him, emotionally accepting him, and allowing him to be that final piece that they made me realize my self-actualization as a man, and really honed in, really come into my own, and really be who I felt I was supposed to be. And he was that missing piece. So one father failed. Second one, but the third time was the charm. And he still is a great influence on me to this day. And this is exactly why I'm in the line of work that I am now as a person. Is I work with children, so I can be the exact same kind of influence on them that he was on me. So I could be the person to kids that I work with, is the person that I needed when I was young, that I didn't have when I was young. And I only got that a little later in my life, through my 20s. So the thumbnail of this video, how did I overcome all of that? I overcame it by making sure that I am always the person to other people that I was lacking when I was a kid. Be the person that you needed to be when you were young, basically. what you were lacking, be that person to other kids coming up, so they don't have to go through the same goddamn thing that you went through, right? Because we all have a sad story. Well, we all do. But at a certain age, we gotta take responsibility for ourselves and just let go and just say, you know what, it sucks, but I'm not gonna continue living my life this way. I'm gonna overcome this, and I'm not gonna let the tragedies and the sob stories of my past stop me from pursuing happiness as I get older. Yeah, it sucks when you're young, but you know what? It doesn't need to be your future. How did I overcome it? By law, not letting it dictate my future. Essentially, that's all it is. And being able to focus on the people, not. And I'll end it with this part. I'll end this video with this: is to not focus on the people that not adding value to your life, but focus on the people that are adding value or have added value. Like my stepfather that came in my early 20s, he added value. And I didn't see that value in the beginning, but I only saw it at the end. And I didn't really appreciate that value till the very end. Until I really accepted him. Until I allowed him to just be that missing piece for me. And on that note, I will thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Logan Ryder, Timeless Personal Growth and Development. And I will be shooting a video on Monday, and I'll be talking about 3 harmful mindsets that will hinder your quality of life. Have a good one.